welcome back to All the Mods 11. I'm Bumstar, and today we're going to change it up from what we did last episode because, well, the Aether's cool, but not really much going on. And like I said at the end of the last episode, we are going to start with Occultism. And the main reason we want to start with Occultism is because of the Dimensional Battleground item that is, I think, relatively new to Occultism. And it's essentially a way to farm items from mobs. It's their own version of a mob farm. So let's jump in and get started. So I need to figure out where I want to put my occultism stuff because, well, it's pretty big, right? Occultism at its max tier is massive. And I'm thinking, I was debating doing it underground, but since we don't have the RF builder, it's kind of a pain to dig underground unless we're using the destruction gadget. But even then, you can't do different shapes. You have to actually do the circles and stuff like that yourself. And I don't feel like doing a giant square room underground, so I'm going to do it out in the overworld here and build around it once it's done. For occultism, it is going to be a multi-episode setup because there's a lot to do in occultism. So I think for now, we're going to clear out some trees over here and do occultism here. So this should be a big enough area, and I'll flatten it out and stuff as we need. But yeah, this is where we'll start for now. So the first thing that we want to do for occultism is make the Dictionary of Spirits, and that just requires a demon seed with a book. If we open up the Dictionary of Spirits, we can go through and start clicking through to unlock everything, or we can sit here. Where is it? I think this. And just spam click this to unlock everything. So that way we don't have to worry about constantly having to go through and read every single chapter. If you haven't done occultism before, it might be worth doing so. But for now, we're not going to worry about it because I've used occultism quite a few times. This page here, the pentacle page, is going to be the most important page because if we come in here, we can click and see what the breakdown looks like. So if we click on that, we can open it up to be able to see just kind of how big this circle actually is going to end up being. You can right click it down and see, you know, it's pretty massive size. But of course, we can't start with the biggest one because, well, we need all of these different color chalks. You know, blue chalk, orange, red, lime, white, black, you know, tons of skeleton skulls and the ritual bowls and candles and all these different things that we just don't have access to right now. So we aren't actually going to be using the top one quite yet. So to start, the very first thing we need to do is we need to make a crusher spirit. And to do that, we need the Avar's Circle, I think is what it's called. So I'm going to go ahead and place that here. And for this, we just need some white chalk and some candles. To make a white chalk, we need a impure white chalk, which is some otherworld ashes and burnt other stone or other rock. And to get both of those items, we need the occultism fire, which means we're going to need some demon's dream fruit and a flint and steel. So for now, we are just going to make sure we turn our magnet off, throw one of these down. Guess I should probably turn my magnet off in my backpack too. And then we use our flint and steel to light it on fire. And this spirit fire won't actually do any damage to you, so you can just run right through it. But we're going to put it there for now. Eventually we will have a specific section for it once I build out what I want to do for occultism, and I have an idea of what I want to do, but it's going to require us to kind of have occultism complete before we can put it down because of how big the rituals can be. But now that we have that, we can start throwing different things into the spirit fire to make different items. So for example, which my range doesn't work here, but I believe if we use some andesite, I think it's andesite, right? Maybe not. Yeah, if we use andesite, that turns that into other stone. And if we use the diorite, that'll turn it into other rock, which are just pretty much two of the same things. But then we need otherworld ashes, and for that, we need otherworld logs. And to get otherworld logs, we can use a lumber bee, but we can also take some oak saplings and throw those directly into the fire here. And that turns those into oak saplings with the occultism tag. Now, if you plant them, they look just like regular oak trees. But if you take the demon fruit and turn it into the demon's dream essence, and you eat it after planting these saplings down, so let's just plant a bunch of these down here, get some bone meal, and let's go ahead and grow all these saplings. There we go. So all the saplings have been grown. And as you can see, they look like regular oak trees, but the leaves are a little lighter than normal. But even if you mouse over them, it still just says oak leaf, oak tree. But if we eat this Demon's Dream Essence, we can now see that these trees have changed to Otherworld logs. And that third eye sight lasts for quite a while. So we could technically do some more, but I think we have enough for now. We're going to go ahead and take a stack of our Otherworld logs to throw it in the fire. And that turned that into the Otherworld Ash, which now means that we can make the Impure Chalk as soon as we get the Burnt Other Rock or Other Stone. And all that is turning it into the polished version of it by smelting it, and then smelting it again. So let's head over here, and let's throw the other stone in here, and our other rock. I definitely need to upgrade my furnace here, because I should be able to upgrade that to the Allthemodium version. There we go. Unobtainium furnace. So that should go much quicker. We can even make a speed augment to make that even faster. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take our polished other stone and polished other rock and put those in the furnace again. Turn the split on. I mean, it runs so fast that it doesn't even split. But now we have a stack of burnt other stone and a stack of burnt other rock, which means we can now make our impure white chalk. And all we have to do then is throw this into our spirit fire, and now we have regular white chalk. So we can come over here now and click on all of these spots here, and it doesn't matter what design they are, they just need to be filled out. But now we just need 4 candles and a golden ritual bowl, and we're going to need some more other stone for that, it looks like. And we're going to need quite a few of these sacrificial bowls, so I'm just going to make a full amount of them. Now let's make one of our golden ones. And we can place that now in the center. And then we just place our candles down here. And they don't have to be lit, but I am using the occultism ones because we have tallow from our cow farm. So that is worked fine. And plus they look better than normal candles anyway. We're going to go ahead and use our flint and steel to light them just because I think it looks cooler with them lit. But we have our first circle down. We look into the book and we look at summoning rituals. The first thing that we're going to want to do is summon a crusher. And we need this crusher because this works and makes specific things that normal crushing factories can't use or can't make, like Mechanism or Ender IO, things like that. They just can't make certain items. So if we scroll over far enough, it tells us exactly how to summon it. And it's going to be some gold, some iron, some silver, and some copper with our Book of Binding. And each tier in occultism has a different book. So we have like the Book of Binding Foliate, the Book of Binding Jinn, Afrit, Murad, and a bunch of other ones. But these 4 are going to be the most important 4. So to make that, we need a Book of Binding Empty, or a Taboo book with Awakened Feathers and Purified Ink. And to make all of those, for the Awakened Feather, it's just a regular feather thrown into the Spirit Fire. For the Purified Ink, it is just black dye thrown into the Spirit Fire, and for the Taboo book, it's just a regular book thrown into the Spirit Fire. So let's grab some books. Let's get some feathers, which we don't have a ton of, but we do have some from other dimensions, and those should work fine. And then we need some black dye, which we can craft. And we just have to chuck all of those into our Spirit Fire. Holy, if I could speak. There we go. We have all 3 of those now. So now we need some blue dye. And we can just place all that into our system here because we should be able to just craft it. But now we have our Book of Binding Foliate. We need to take that and add it with our Dictionary of Spirits to make the bound version of it. And then we need some sacrificial bowls. And I'm going to go ahead and just place 8 down for now, even though we only need 4 of them. And then we need to grab some ingots. So we need gold, silver, iron, and copper. And we just place these down in the bowls here. Doesn't matter what order you put them in. And then we just need to place our book down. It'll make a noise and you can start seeing some particle effects happening. But occultism is pretty slow, and this one's kind of fast because it's early, but we can use our time wand. And that'll just speed this process up a ton. And here we go. Here is our slow crusher. And they will wander around. But luckily we can put a leash on them and kind of keep him in a specific area, but he's just going to wander around from now. So the main purpose of us doing occultism though is going to be for the dimensional battlefield, because with the dimensional battlefield you can use it as a mob farm that really isn't going to cause any lag whatsoever, and it's a new item, so I wanted to try it out. And it seems like pretty much any mob in the game can be used to farm stuff from these dimensional battlegrounds. You know, if you use a ender dragon, you can get dragon's breath, dragon's egg, or elytras from it. And that is a great way to farm dragon's breath because there's no easy way to do that right now. But if you look through it, I mean, it's kind of like everything in the game can be farmed this way. At least that's how it looks. You know, right here's a warden spawn egg. You can get some skulk or bottles of enchanting from it. And I was hoping that you'd be able to get tendrils from it, but it doesn't seem like it. But one of the big ones that we are mainly looking for this for is going to be this one here, the Piglich heart. We need a Trinity gem that has a Piglich, and we'll get Piglich hearts from it. Obviously, it takes a ton of resources to do it, but I think this is definitely going to be our best option. Another really cool thing that we can get through occultism is the dimensional miners, and specifically this one here, the Eldritch miner, because you can get a ton of ores from this, and it's just another way to farm resources. So if we're looking at a recipe though, to make this dimensional battlefield, it's going to be an Afrit thing, and it's Servia's permanent confinement. So if we look at our dictionary of spirits and go to our pentacles, it's this one right here. So in order to make that one, if we kind of look at how this works, it shows here these are all going to require the basic white chalk. But if we come down here, we're going to need yellow chalk for this whole line. We're going to need purple and yellow chalk for this whole line. And it kind of walks you through step by step on what chalks you need. So the ultimate goal is just to get the highest tier of all of them, because why not, right? As I'm sure there's tons of different things that we can do with occultism. That might be pretty useful, especially since we don't have a bunch of mods that we're used to having. But for another example, for this one here, we need Ranaza's contact. And that is over here. So we'll need this one, which is going to require magenta chalk, brown chalk, cyan chalk. It's also going to need green, light blue, and pink. So overall, probably going to need every single chalk. So let's start working on it. First ones that I'd like to start working on are going to be yellow chalk, which is glowstone dust, gold dust, and gold dust. And then we're also going to want purple chalk. And these are why we need the crusher. Because if we take a look, we can get glowstone and gold, no problem, right? That's easy. This one we can pretty much make right away. We just need another impure chalk. Yeah, so we can just grab that and we're good. But for the purple chalk, we need obsidian dust, which we can do. But then we need crushed endstone. And the only way to get crushed endstone is through a crushing spirit. So let's grab some obsidian and some endstone. And let's go give those to our crusher. And he is pretty slow. I wonder if we can time wand him. Nope. Just gonna have to deal with the slow. If you shift right click on him though, you can bring up this little menu here. And there's even a filter that we can put in here now. So we can add a filter list so it prevents it from crushing certain things. So we could eventually get to the highest tier of the crusher and trap them in a room to do all the crushing for us, to really increase our ore productivity. Alright, so he's all crushed up, so we should be able to make our impure purple chalk now. Then we just throw our impure yellow and purple chalks into the fire, and we now have purple and yellow chalk. We are also going to want the impure light gray chalk, and to go all the way up to the regular gray chalk as well. But for the impure light gray, what do we need? Silver dust, calcite, and iron. Silver, calcite, and iron. So let's go ahead and have our crusher crush those down, and let's make our light gray chalk now. So now we can throw that into the fire, And we have 4 chalks already, which is awesome. So let's take a look. If we wanted to go to the next one, it looks like we're going to need lime chalk. And to get lime chalk, let's see, we will need slime, some emerald dust, and then the research fragment dust. And that is from spectral compulsion, which seems pretty easy enough. So spectral compulsion, let's see, that is going to be this one here. And it looks like, yeah, that one we'd also need lime chalk. So we're going to need to do another one here. And this looks like it's just some white and some purple with some candles. And that means we're going to need to put another circle down. And I'm going to build it up a little bit, so that way we have a platform to do so. And for now, we are going to be using cobblestone to increase the height, but it's not going to be a permanent thing. I will be replacing all this cobblestone. I have a general idea of what I want to do. It's just going to take me a little bit of time. So I'm going to go about 5 high, give it some height so it doesn't feel like tiny little rooms. So then at 6 is where we'll put the floor. And it's definitely going to be a completely different size than this. This is just kind of what I'm dealing with right now. Yeah, that seems like a decent height for a first floor. And I might even make this first floor not have a ritual on it at all, but this will work for now. Ooh, but the only downfall of doing it this way is I might have to move the rituals around a bit because I don't have them completely centered, but I think that'll be okay. There we go. So that's the maximum tier for the second one, and that actually fits on this platform perfectly. So that's not a terrible size. I'm going to go ahead and break out the centerpiece though. I want to see, is that centered down here? No, it is a one off. So I want to check to see what the size is for this one, because I want to make sure that it's pretty even. So this one is actually one's over here. Yeah, this one's one size bigger than this. So this is going to be a rather big building, but that's fine for now. So I'm going to replace this block with something else. So that way I just know that's center. Go ahead and just place a regular stone down there. Cool. All right. So go ahead and place you right on that stone. And actually, I don't know. That's not really the one that we need right now, right? No, because we needed compulsion, because that's how we make the lime chalk, right? It's with the research fragment. Yeah, so let's go ahead and make another platform. Let's come to the center here and break that out and grab another block of stone and just keep that center marked. So then we can use this for the spectral compulsion. Bam. All right. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and place some of this down to the purple chalk. And then we need our white chalk. And then we need a sacrificial bowl and some candles. Let's light those candles to give us some light. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and put that other ritual over here, just because we already have it kind of mapped out. And that's going to use our yellow chalk. Bam. There we go. And this one we probably won't even use until we upgrade it, but that's fine. Yeah, and this is going to look pretty ugly until I get it completed, because, well, I just don't want to make a building and then it end up being too small, and then I'm kind of screwed. So yeah, this is just kind of what we're dealing with until most of the circles are big enough. We'll see. Anyway, so now we need to make this research fragment dust. So that's going to be some just random ore dust, 2 bottles of enchanting, and a enchanted book with our book of binding foliate. Let's grab all those materials. So let's see, book. We'll just use this enchanted book. Let's grab some iron and we'll turn that into some dust. Some bottles. We have a couple bottles of enchanting already, so that's perfect. And then we just need our book of binding foliate. Go use our crusher for that iron. And then we also need some more sacrificial bowls. So I'm going to grab some more andesite. We're just going to throw those into the fire here. All right, we have our iron dust, our enchanted book, our 2 bottles of enchanting, and our book of binding foliate. Go ahead and speed that up. Perfect. There is our research fragment dust. So we're going to need a crushed emerald and then a slime ball and a impure white chalk. All right, make our impure lime chalk. Go throw that in the fire. Perfect. Now we have our impure white or lime chalk. Now that we have our lime chalk, we'll be able to do Eigen's enthrallment, Strigger's higher binding, Fink's calling. I don't know. We're also going to want to make one of these brushes because we'll need to be able to erase some chalks as well eventually. So next up on our list is going to be the orange chalk. To make that orange chalk, we need blaze powder, glow berries, which we have. Then we need cursed honey. And to get cursed honey, we need Igar's enthrallment. We need to sacrifice a bee, and we will summon a possessed bee. And that's just going to be honey block, honey bottle, honeycomb block, and a regular honeycomb with our book of binding gin. So we need to do Igar's enthrallment, which is this one here, which means we're going to upgrade this guy, and we're going to use our lime chalk. Going to need some more candles, and then we're going to need to use, it looks like, some light gray chalk, which we already have made. And then we need some skeleton skulls, which I actually don't know. Do we have skeleton skulls? I know we have wither. Yeah, we have wither skulls. We're going to need to make the skeleton seed, which actually, yeah, we can just do that now. We have so many bones that we can just use the soul jars. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up real quick. Yeah, it only took about just over a stack to get all 4 filled up. So if you don't have a way to farm skeleton skulls, mystical agriculture is definitely going to be the way to do it. All right, and just like that, I'm already at 15,000 skeleton essence. So I think we're pretty solid. There we go. Yep, 48 skeleton skulls. It took me all of 2 minutes to set that up. All right, let's place these skulls down. And then I need to finish using my lime chalk. And what else am I missing? A gray right here. Perfect. And I always like to have the skulls facing outwards, just because that way you can see them, but facing in is fine too. It doesn't matter which way they face though. And then of course, the most important step, let's make sure to light these candles. All right, so now we need a honeycomb block. We need a honeycomb. We need a bottle of honey. And we need a honey block. Then we also are going to need the Book of Binding Gin. Mix that with our Dictionary of Spirits to bind it. Put our sacrificial bowls down. We need 4 of them. Place all of these in here. And then we are going to need to sacrifice a bee. It even shows you here now like a little icon of what you're spawning in. That's pretty cool. Now, out of curiosity, do you think a random bee will work, or does it need to be a actual standard bee? Let's find out. Does that count? No. Okay, it has to be a standard bee. Lucky for us, we have some standard bees in here, so let's grab a couple cages. There's a regular bee. Here's another one. Let's go ahead and see, can we just breed 2 regular bees together? We can. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and make 64 of these, just for the sake of having a ton of regular bees, just in case we need them for anything. Alright, we just need 1 of them for now, so we'll let the rest of those breed up so we have them for later. Sir, this is my platform, not yours. Alright, let's go ahead and summon that regular bee. Yep. Okay. Summon the regular bee. Fight it. And there we go. It's not working, so let's speed that up. And sir, I need your cursed honey. We got 6 of them. Cool. So now all we need is our blaze powder, our glow berries, and a impure white chalk, which are all things that we have. But now that we have our orange chalk, let's start working on our gray chalk. And for gray chalk, we need some gray paste. And to make gray paste, it is Strigger's higher binding with some gunpowder, some clay balls, some phantom membranes, and some gray dye with a book of genie. The genie. I don't know. So gunpowder, have 1.1 million of those. We're good on that. Clay. We actually don't have a ton of clay, but that's okay. Gray dye, we're going to have to make some, which that's fine. And phantom membrane, which I think we have some. Oh, we have 1 left. Perfect. I do have a phantom in our backpack and a creature catcher that we will eventually automate. Maybe we'll use the battleground for that, or the battlefield for that. Let's go ahead and make our book. And then the only other thing we have to do is we're going to have to make our binding, I believe, because this is just the regular one, right? Yep. this is just spectral compulsion. So let's go ahead and place this down over top. And that is just going to be a ton of purple and lime chalk. And some skulls, it looks like. And some light gray, it looks like as well. What else am I missing? Oh, these inside ones become light gray too. Perfect. And there we go. And one of the cool things too is as you upgrade them, if you hover over the golden ritual bowl in the middle, it actually tells you all the different pentacles that it is. So we have spectral compulsion and higher binding here. So anything that requires either one of those will work here. It's going to be the same thing for all of these down here as well. This one gives us the 2. We have lore and enthrallment. And then down here is just a standard one for the circle. But now we should be able to place all of these items down to make our gray paste. Perfect. Let's go throw our gray chalk in the fire. And we now have our gray chalk. At this point, we are having quite a few chalks. And there is our satchels that we can make. And let's see here. So what do we need for this one? Spectral compulsion. Where's spectral compulsion? Oh, we can easily do that one. That's the top levels, I believe. Unless I moved that. Yeah, right here. So we just need to get the materials to make it. To do that, we're going to need some leather. So 2 leather, dispenser, and a hopper. Some wool, and silver and string. Definitely got to put some more ritual bowls down. String, silver, 2 leather, dispenser and a hopper, 2 pieces of wool. We need the Book of Foliant. Place that down, give it some speed. Perfect. Now we have a satchel, so if we shift right click it, we can put all of our chalk in here. We can put our sacrifice bowls. Actually, we keep the sacrifice bowls out, but our skeleton skulls, our large candles. So everything is in there. And as you can see, it has that like enchanted look to it. So that enchanted look will go away once one of the items in there is at 1 durability. So that way we know, hey, like stop using it, figure out what we need to replace. But now that we have gray chalk and we have orange chalk, we're going to want to move on to red chalk. Oh, and red chalk is a little bit of a pain. We need a Torchflower, some redstone, and the Afrit essence. So for Torchflower, we have a plant growth chamber through energized power, or the planters with the Torchflower seed. The issue is finding this Torchflower seed. We might need to get a sniffer. Let me just double check to make sure we don't have one. No, we don't have any torch flowers. Okay. So I think that means we are going to have to find some ruins. Yeah, and it's going to be the Ocean Ruin Worm, which luckily isn't too far away. So let's head over here and see if we can find a sniffer egg, which I haven't had to get a torch flower this way in a very, very long time. Normally, a lot of these mod packs have the Bumble Zone, and I always just get my torch flower from the Bumble Zone because you can find them in the one biome that has like a ton of flowers. I haven't had to actually get a torch flower the standard way, and I don't know if I've ever had to, if I'm being completely honest. Okay, so it should be right about here. Let's see, we have our brush here. Is that what this is? Let's see, that should be some suspicious sand, right? Yeah, we get out of that some wheat. That's some regular sand. Please don't tell me that's all we have. That's a hoe. Oh wait, is that? There it is. Perfect. Okay, wow, that was a lot quicker than I thought it was gonna be. Yep, got our sniffer egg. Okay, so what can we do with the sniffer egg? I guess we could have summoned a wild horde of drowned to possibly get a sniffer egg, but that would take some time. I would have rather just brushed it out. So now let's build a little enclosure for this guy. And look at our moas. They're so cool looking. Got that purple one fully grown too. All right, so we have that fence built out. If we put the sniffer egg down, I guess we just have to wait for it to spawn. Can I time on it? No. Oh, and I guess we can put a moss block down underneath to speed it up. Let's see how that works. Supposedly that gives you an extra 10 minutes. So normally I guess it takes 20 minutes to spawn, but this will make it take 10. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So at this point, we're just waiting for the sniffer egg to hatch. It only took about 10 minutes with the moss block, but our sniffer is here. So now at this point, we just need to wait for the torchflower seeds so we can start getting torchflowers. So I think that's going to be it for today's episode. We got started with our occultism, and now we're just waiting for a torchflower. Next episode, we'll continue more of the same, but hopefully start getting some good items from our occultism to start being able to utilize them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later.